Year. Like I said, my money would be on top blokes, but I'm excited to see, I've seen a lot of apparently Jack and Dead Monsters 1v1 game. I'm excited to see what they can do in a 3v3. I wouldn't mind being proven wrong, because Dead Monster is not so secretly one of my favorite players.
What do you like so much about him? Because you play him often, right?
I've bumped into him a couple times, but it's mostly I got to cast a lot of his 1v1 journey in the Salt Mine, and he's not got flashy mechanics. He's just really clever. He just his timing and his reads on his opponent's defensive moves are so immaculate that he just seems to score goals past people just by doing what looks like very basic moves, but he just times them and delivers them so well.
Going to definitely be a team of 1v1 mains up against one of the up-and-coming teams at the moment in Top Blokes, coming in around 7th seed compared to Stormtroopers 12th seed into stage number 2. As Dead Monster takes down the left-hand wing, going to be thwarted by Archie, one of the biggest up-and-coming individual players on the tournament so far. And the first proper shot saved out by Cassio and from Polar. And apparently Jack's going to try and keep that pressure on. Dead Monster isn't quite able to get that. Archie this time with the save. And speaking of Archie, he has risen out the ranks a lot recently as joining to replace Freaky, and going by their results, they've had a really, really strong showing with him.
Yeah, I think if you're Archie, this team is a dream setup to sort of make your breakthrough. They're a very well organized, very experienced and reliable core at the team in Cassio and Flame, but they're not, they're going to let him shine. They're not so dynamic and explosive that you're not going to see the ball at the same time. So it's a great team to sort of work on his skill set, but he can take risks. He can go in with confidence knowing he's got two really reliable players behind him. I think Archie joining this team was a great move for his career.
Yeah, it certainly paid off so far as well. I don't think that with Freaky they would have made it this far. Of course, Fadeaway, Freaky's next team, didn't make it this far, so there's definitely evidence to support that Archie is one of the stronger players coming in. As Dead Monster does manage to get that in front of the goal, and Archie, that they've been talking so much about, does manage to get the save away. Now Archie up that left wing, straight to the backboard for Polar, who sends it clear. Dead Monster, though, again, that very clever positioning, ready for the pass out of defense. Despite the fact it was caught by Flame, it's a really good start to have it. And Flame! So Archie has the shot, and Polar saves it off the line.
Yeah, see, that was something we were discussing before the game. I was a little bit concerned that, Cassio with a bit of creativity there, but I was really concerned that these 1v1 mains might not have the 3v3 defensive guile required to cope with the pressure that Top Blokes are going to bring. But they also have Polar, who made that save just there, and I think Polar's sort of role in this team is to plug those defensive gaps that having two 1v1 mains might cause. So good save from Polar there, just proving his worth.
Archie, again, up the left wing, is challenged by Dead Monster in the middle, and the mid booth being picked up by a Stormtroopers player. Cassio from the back half can carry it far, but apparently Jack is there to pick it up. Polar, a little bit of miscommunication. They both end up going for it. It goes towards the right-hand side of the pitch. Not much boost to his name, but Archie's able to pick up the back 100, and he gets it round. Apparently Jack with the shot, and Archie again with the save. His defense already in this series, even with that triple commit, has been strong.
Yeah, that was a great save, and that's what I was talking about, where even if you trick one of these players, they're so well organized that someone's always ready to cut in behind and save the day, and we saw that there with Archie making a great reflex save. But I must admit, Stormtroopers looking more dangerous than I expected. I knew it was going to be a tough game. There we go. Polar with the 1v1 plays. That's not who you expected to be on the end of the chance, but there we go. Great take, beautiful touch, and then just slots it behind. Really nice little finish from Polar.
Polar is a self-admitted worst dribbler in the team, and I think when you're along with apparently Jack and Dead Monster, you're basically setting that role no matter who you are. But the ball fell to him and he took his chance. So maybe those other Stormtrooper guys have something to worry about. With that miss, actually, probably not.
But like you said, if you're the worst dribbler in the team with Dead Monster and apparently Jack, you could probably still be a really fantastic dribbler. That's a pretty high bar to set yourself.
Final 40 seconds, Dead Monster and Polar working together again. Polar can sneak it in. That's 2-0 now for the team that both the desk and us were not expecting to be taking it. Dead Monster faking out the defender on the backboard as well. I think it was Cassio was not aware that he was going to just not touch the ball let it go flying past him. And it was that really high up positioning. It's something that we spoke, like you said, before the series started. And I thought there'd be a lot of close shadowing by the Stormtroopers guide. And that can mess up teams often. Oh, that is very close shadow from Flame, and it didn't work out for them. 3-0 for Stormtroopers.
Yeah, in that second goal there, we sort of saw what I was talking about. This third one was sort of just, I guess, Top Blokes sort of needing to throw the kitchen sink and getting caught on the counter. But that second goal there, that was exactly what I was talking about, where I said Dead Monster is just very clever, and he manages to put himself in positions where he doesn't have to do an awful lot to create an awful lot. He was just sitting on the wall, just looking at the ball. He didn't even hit it, he was just looking at it. And Cassio went flying by and he created an open goal for Polar. So, I'm glad to see I know what I'm talking about.
I'm sure Psionic's are happy to see that you know what we're talking about as well, mate. Dead Monster sends it to Polar. Can they get their fourth? Potentially. Archie to go in the middle. Flame can pick it up. Doesn't matter if a goal is scored now or not. It can only mean that there's more momentum going into game number 2. But Stormtroopers run away with all of the momentum. The first game does end up going 3-0. Looking like there wasn't even that much offensive pressure from Top Blokes. There's a few shots that came in, and there was that one goal line save. But apart from that, it didn't really seem to look like there was a huge amount of offensive pressure for Top Blokes. Obviously, they came from the Veloce side, and they were memed quite frequently for the fact that they absolutely loved to force a 1-0, 1-0, 1-0 series. And I think when it starts to run away from them, they do struggle to get a hold on that game again.
Yeah, I think they're sort of a bit more reliant on pressure forcing mistakes than they are on sort of creating goals from not very much. I think that's part of the reason they brought Archie in. Archie's a bit more of a creative type and a bit more of a prospect than Freaky. Freaky's still a fantastic player, but Freaky's more just the same pressure and make them crack, and make mistakes. So I hopefully we see a little bit more creativity from them this time, because I expected it to work. I expected that strategy to work. I expected these 1v1 players to get caught out of position, but they just didn't. So Top Blokes are going to have to step it up and be a bit more devilish in attack.
I mean, we've seen how devilish they can be with the results that they've gained recently. Over in the field, if people have been able to watch any of those games, they're normally broadcasted by coaches or by players who are currently in them. I know Scrub Killer streams into Guild, for example. Top Blokes have taken down Endpoint Solari and FC Barcelona, and none of them went to 5 games. It was a 3-1, 3-0, 3-1. They are a really, really strong team, but they've just not been able to show it in this series just yet. And now this pressure is really the first sustained attack that they've got. Cassio diving in the way, making sure that the ball does not leave the half. But Dead Monster, along with Polar, will ensure that it does.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Polar, actually. Like, I definitely expected Dead Monster and apparently Jack to be doing most of the damage, but Polar snuck in with a couple of goals, as well as doing his job of sort of a sweeper keeper, just staying behind and clearing any danger. So good performance from him so far. Very impressed.
I really thought I'd see him fall into that strong third man position, but actually he's been up doing quick rotations with both of the other Stormtrooper players. Been impressed how far up he's been able to go, and how much evidently he trusts that apparently Jack and Dead Monster, despite their bloodlust for goals, will end up pulling out of rotation. But Top Blokes do end up outplaying the defense. As I say all of that, Dead Monster pinching it off wide, and then Flame faking it. I don't know which one it is, so portmanteau whiffing and faking. And in the end, Cassio can sink it back. Top Blokes go 1-0 up.
You know what? Sometimes when you're in Flame's position there, you're not even sure if you whiffed or you're faked. You just know it's a good idea to, go for the ball, and then maybe your 50 works out, maybe you fake him. You just sort of had the defender in a 2v1, he was like, okay, I'm just going to fling myself at this and see what happens.
Do anything, yeah.
Yeah, just do something. The worst thing you can do there is stand still. And, he didn't, and they scored.
Now, Flame and Cassio having an argument in defense. As Dead and Monster does go up, and Archie in the middle, they would send it long. Again, Daryl would have loved to have seen that creativity we know from him. Take the touch, maybe pass it out to Flame, because he did have a player on the side. But in the end, it does end up falling slower in the mid. And lofted gently, but Flame good intercept.
Yeah, you make a good point there. My cam was on Flame for that, and I think Archie had space and time. He could have made a touch himself, dribbled, and Flame had full boost on the left in space. He could have just smashed a long ball up to Flame, and then maybe Flame could have knocked it back into the mid or gone for a double touch, or a redirect or something like that. They do need a little bit more creativity. I think whoever the captain of this team is, I don't know who the captain is, but they need to say to Archie,
it's
like,
Flame.
Listen, it's Flame, okay. Flame needs to say to Archie, I don't know what Flame sounds like. I'll assume he's a London geezer. He's got to be like, come on, Archie, mate, you got to get stuck in, sunshine. Do what you're here to do and do some damage, mate. That's what we need from Archie. He's not there just to smash the ball into the backboard, you know.
Absolutely. And I think there was literally about 10 seconds after that, Flame again was in a great position, and Casio this time didn't find him. He just went for a shot on net. And I think Flame is getting himself into great position. His teammates just aren't finding him, and that has meant that whilst they've got the lead, it's only a 1-0, and even then, plays like that can start to take you out of it. Polar will continue the offense. Casio from the line. Dead Monster and Flame attacking it on that right-hand wall. Polar cannot grab the 100 boost, and it does get cleared out by Archie. The final 90 seconds are going to see Top Blokes attempt to maintain their 1-goal lead. Apparently Jack comes off the ceiling. Can go with a slow hit. But Polar flying in after Dead Monster there. It does end up working out, but still a dangerous situation. Archie over to Casio, and Dead Monster with a really clutch save.
Sorry, I thought Polar was on the wing there, and I thought he was going to score an open goal. he must have come back to defense there. I honestly thought he was going to score. Let's create a chance here if there's anyone to follow up. Dead Monster's there. Double touch maybe? Not quite.
I was hoping he would then. I saw he had like 20. I was like, can he get him high enough? And no, he just sort of maintained his height. The final 50.
The warning light should be flashing for Top Blokes right now. This 1-goal lead isn't looking like it's going to be enough. There's goals in the Stormtroopers team just now, so they need to get a second one, in my opinion. I don't think one's going to be enough.
I mean, Top Blokes have had far and away the most shots, but it seems like that whenever they have been attacking, it has been pot shots rather than big attacks. A sort of dedicated runs downfield. Now, apparently Jack can find Polar, gets central again, back to Jack. But Jack ends up going low. He had the boost to go high to force a strong 50, but it doesn't end up going for it. Now Dead Monster on the right-hand side gets faked out by Flame, who just waits. Really great time wasting there by Flame. Despite the fact he didn't have the ball, he just made it so the play did slow down a little bit. Flame just really throwing himself in front of the ball as we reach the end of the game.
Yeah, that's that experience coming through there. He knows, you know, obviously you'd like a second goal. Obviously you'd like a second goal, but there's like 20 seconds left. Just keep it tight, keep the ball in their end, don't overcommit and leave your teammates in a 3v2, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, really good play there from Top Blokes. I said at the end of last game that maybe they're not quite like the Veloce side we've seen before, forcing 1-0s. I'm so sorry for jinxing it. We got another 1-0. But it had a lot of goals, and so they had a lot of shots rather on target, and managed to shut down Stormtroopers much more effectively because they seem to have that much tighter way of playing where Stormtroopers will throw themselves at it and hope that something good happens. Whereas Top Blokes seem to have thought at least 1 or 2 steps ahead and will have somebody there to pick it up if it doesn't go well. Obviously, when it does start to flow away from them, it doesn't go quite as well, and then that's where you see some errors come in where Flame will cut in a little bit too close, or we'll see one of the defensive players maybe not going for a challenge when they could, but it didn't end up leading to any goals that game. So those Stormtroopers got the more convincing win in game number 1. Top Blokes did end up scoring just the one in the second. Now, game number 3. Is your money still on Top Blokes, do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. I think Flame and Casio sort of stepped up the game for that match. And I think Archie, I don't know if you saw, had 92 points. He didn't really do much. I sort of felt like he was a bit nervous or something for that game. Didn't really take any risks. I feel like Archie's got another level he can go to, and he's usually pretty reliable, honestly. He's not someone I would class as inconsistent. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see Archie sort of start to find himself a bit more and do a bit more damage in this game.
He's definitely got a lot more room to grow, has Archie. We've not seen much from him in this series so far. As Dead Monster goes to the shot again, could have found Polar. A lot of these players on this pitch, they've got chances, as Casio does here. Polar gets into the ceiling. But yeah, they've got lots of chances to go for passing plays, and they're just not. And I wonder if that's maybe just not foresight from them.
I think a lot of the time, in my experience, when there's potential passes not going to where they should, it's usually lack of communication. Oh, great shot. Yeah, bang indeed.
Bang, mate. That's who needs communication when you can hit it hard. Cassio sends it to Flame. Top of the tux, and it goes to the middle of the net. That's 1 goal within 1 minute as well. Top Alexander do taking the lead. This is it, lads. Bunker down. You've got the 1-0 win.
Yeah, that was all about the pass from Cassio. Just put it right on a plate for Flame. Couldn't miss. You love it when you're an attacker and you're making that run and you see the ball come in front of you with pace. You're like, oh boy, this is going to be a scorcher. Oh no, what happened? I didn't spot that.
It was Flame in net. Couldn't get a convincing touch. Archie went up for it, missed it. Flame touches it really lightly because I think he didn't expect to go underneath Archie. And apparently Jack there with just really good positioning. Again, those 1v1 close shadows, where normally be shadowing the ball from that distance if you were in a 1v1. But you can basically just shadow it one more car length away because you've got your teammate there. But that does bring them even, as apparently Jack off the post. And just get himself out of the way. Polar might score a goal. No, just wide. Okay, we're safe still.
Yeah, that chance created by Dead Monster, that was a beautiful little knockdown. Unfortunate not to get a goal from it. He just nicked in front of the defender and touched it down. Gave the opportunity to Jack, he just got a little bit unlucky, didn't he? Just found the post, unfortunately.
Polar will send it central again, but nobody's there apart from Flame. Jack gonna send it to the middle. More passes coming in now, but at less opportune times. Apparently Jack, we know his mechanics can do well. That's a flip reset over the top. But Archie comes from the side wall, so he's not able to be bumped out of the way. The monster with the mid boost gets over Cassio, gets over the second. Apparently Jack is there. Can he touch it down in time? Polar's up for the breach, and it goes off the post again. They've hit double woodwork with their 2 most recent shots.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. That was a really well-worked goal. Dead Monster with his usual tricks, just taking the first player out of the game with ease, flicking it into the backboard for apparently Jack to shoot. It was a hard angle, but he managed to put it down for Polar, who just hit the post. They're looking good, honestly. They've definitely got goals in them. This is still anyone's series.
Flame is blocked out by Dead Monster and Polar with a reflexive hit and get it towards one of the top Blokes players, as Dead Monster removes Archie from the middle and whiffs it on the side wall as well. There's been a lot of passes going onto side walls from defense from both teams, and it just really helps with clearing that offensive pressure that's currently on you.
Look there, yeah, you make a good point there about passing, and then just as you said that, Archie had Cassio wide open in the middle, free as you like, and he just banged it at the backboard. I reckon you just smash that at Cassio, you're scoring a good, at least 50% of the time, man. He was wide open. And that's that.
Oh! God, I thought that was going to go just wide, or Flame would be able to get to it. There's a bump at the back from Polar onto Flame, who then has to rush back in, and Dead Monster squeezes it in the smallest of gaps behind him. That was basically a ball width between Flame and the post, and he squeezes it in. This time, teasing the post, saying, "You're not going to stop me now. We will get the goal." As we approach 90 seconds, Stormtroopers do end up leading.
Yeah, that was just an example of perfect shooting. Like, there was a bump before the play, but it still looked like Flame had that post covered, but he just scooted an inch too far forward, and Dead Monster was able to just clatter it off the far post, and then just a great shot. You love to see it. No, nothing fancy, just whack it.
Yeah, again, hit it hard, see what happens. Apparently Jack sends it central, does find Polar, but Archie again with more exemplary backboard defense. That seems to be his home at the moment. He's really happy to be the man on the backboard from a lot of the touches. Apparently Jack now faced with an open net, but Archie does get back in time and with enough boost to recover in the net as well. Cass with a nice touch over the top. Polar sends it central, and Archie sends it into the corner. Maybe could have taken the touch, as Jack did end up turning around earlier than he expected. Flame, good jump off the sidewall.
He's looking really, really solid defensively. Looks like he's got, a lot of composure in defense. Not really made any defensive mistakes from what I've seen. He's even bailed his teammates out a few times. But I think there's opportunities that have been wasted by him in attack.
Yeah.
I think he's too quick to relinquish possession and give the ball to his opponents. He needs to be a bit more creative, and maybe his teammates need to give him a shot and be like, "Mid, pass it to me. I'm open. I would really like to score." You need that call out if you're the attacking player.
Please, for the love of God, I'd really like a goal here. I'm honestly, mate, I'm over 100 boosts. You know what I mean? This is hard, really is harder to miss. And if you can say all of that in about half a second, then power to you.
Oh, I thought they were going to get one more goal. Yeah, I would say the key to Top Blokes taking this game is Archie stepping up his game offensively. Defensively, I think he's having a really great series, but in attack, I think he's just no imagination whatsoever. He's just whacking it every time he gets it. And we do love people whacking it. Mm-hmm. You know, hitting it hard is a mantra of mine, but you need to find those passes.
Yeah, I think it's Archie, whilst he has been strong defensively, leading the saves in that match, he was not going for the assist game, which is something that was lacking a lot for Top Blokes. And they had less chance in that game, to be honest, to get those passes, but you need to snipe them when they do end up happening. He, of course, also had the defensive error in the back where he wasn't quite able to get the touch. They went over flame. So I think I'd like to see more from Archie. We know he's got a lot more to give.
Yeah, I mean, not to single out Archie. Mm-hmm. I also think Flame and Cassio are playing a little bit of an uninspired game as well. I think they're sort of, I don't know if this has been a strategical call from Flame or whoever the captain is, but they seem to be very, what's the word? They don't want to take any risks. They're looking to play very safe from the looks of things, which I think just isn't going to work against a team who are quite dangerous in attack and have a lot of moves and tricks up their sleeve.
Maybe not, but game number 4, we'll see if it will end up working. We'll go to 5, will it be ended in 4 with another Stormtroopers win? Now, Archie off this sidewalk does get the flip reset. That's what we like seeing from Archie. Even if it was an apparently Jack error with the defensive touch, he still gets the flip reset.
Yeah, that's a bit more like it. You know, I think in the previous games, you maybe would have just seen him smash that at the backboard and hope for the best. Whilst, in my opinion, apparently Jack should save that 100 times out of 100. You know, he's a world-class 1v1 player. He can't be whiffing saves like that. Whilst that is the case, it is good to see that he's, you know, going out there and playing his game a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Tyler, apparently the worst dribbler on the team, does manage to get it past 2 Top Blokes defenders. Apparently Jack pops it.
I'm not buying that from Polar.
Not either. I reckon he's. What's the word when you go to a bar and someone's playing pool and they're like faking how bad they are?
Hustling.
Hustling, yeah. I reckon he's hustling everybody. Yeah, I reckon that's what he's doing. But Cassio, he's goal sharking, mate. That's all he's about. Because he gets the second goal for Top Blokes in this game. This is a lot more of what we wanted to see. Archie stepped up. Cassio gone for a solo play, but it does end up working. As Polo just about does not manage to save it, and Flame sinks it in the net instead.
I'm going to watch the replay before I talk about what happened to you.
Yeah, I didn't quite see.
Dead Monster. I think the demo sort of ruined his 50-50. That's 2 goals now that you feel are quite soft. The goal to go 2-0 up, we were too busy. I can't remember what we were chatting about. We were chatting nonsense about something.
About pool, mate.
But I'm not going to let Dead Monster get away with it as much as I love him. He absolutely beamed it. It was the simplest wall clear. No pressure whatsoever, and he just completely whiffed and left his mate Polar stuck under the ball with Cassio charging in. And then there, just a lack of communication and defense, a double commit. They've sort of thrown this game away a little bit, and they've got a real uphill climb on their hands now.
They're really going for it, though, as all 3 men were in the opponent's third. They're at 10 seconds there. Apparently Jack's going to push up 100 boost from the backboard. Does get the bump as well. That was on target, but Dead Monster couldn't connect as Polar tries to keep the attack going. Dead Monster will touch it down, goes towards apparently Jack, but a little bit too hard, and Flame intercepting. Much more aggression.
Yeah, and I mean, if anything, right now is the time to go back to the plan. You're 3-0 up. You're in Top Blokes gaff now. This is where they want to be. 3-0 up and being able to, having an excuse to sit back and wait. This is, I would say this is basically Top Blokes' game, to be honest.
If there's a team out there that you could say are able to hold a bit of a stringy lead, I would say that would be Top Blokes, and they've got a confident 3-0 lead. So they've got a good chance, but they are being hammered with shots at the moment. Apparently Jack removes Flame from the pitch. Archie can get a good clear away, but Polar there at the back, just able to seal that back boost, and they can continue their attack. If you don't have boost, you're not going to be able to be nearly as quick as Polar can get it central. But both Dead Monster and Jack have the same idea, and Archie in the net gets a brilliant save.
Yeah, great defensive play from Archie, and this is, like I said, exactly where Top Blokes want to be. I think this was sort of their game plan all along from the looks of things. You know, from the lack of risks they've been taking, I think they were expecting the Stormtroopers lineup to just make mistakes, and they were just going to wait them out, wait for them to be in it, and then take the games. But Stormtroopers, I think, sort of played a bit better than you'd expect, honestly. I think they really stepped up for this series. Great shot.
What a bump. Apparently Jack on the goal line. He turns immediately in. Polar going away from the aerial, boosts down, and then heads into the shot off the sidewall, whilst Jack is bullying Cassio out of the net. Brings it back to only 2 goal difference now. Stormtroopers, of course, need this game for them to go through into the 3rd round of Swiss, where they will be playing against another 2-0 team. The loser of this will be going up against another 1-all team. I'll update you on any scores as we see them. And Dead Monster gets it in, gifted it slightly as Archie isn't quite able to get there. Could he have done?
Oh no, I didn't see that double commit the first time. I was saying earlier maybe there's a lack of communication because no one's calling for passes, and they both just, I mean, you saw that, they both pinched it off each other into the ceiling. Oh man. They've beamed it a little bit. Now all of a sudden they're not comfortable at all. You know, they went from being 3-0 up, happy as Larry, and now they're sad as Susan. I guess. I agree. I could not agree more. Dead Monster up the wing isn't able to get it any further than the halfway mark, and Polar will try and continue his good work. Apparently Jack right at the back will be getting a block. Dead Monster can send it down towards him, but no communication as Jack did not turn in time. This one goal is looking honestly likely, I think, for Stormtroopers to get it, as apparently Jack goes in, gets them on flame, but Archie, again, the backboard hero, Cassio, can take the shot with the dunk. The post ends up sending it to Archie. They're back in comfortable territory. An insurance goal has been scored. Yeah, a fantastic take from Cassio, though. He had 0 boost, but he just put his car in the perfect position to win the 50-50 against, you know, a world-class ones player. That's no easy feat, so great play from Cassio, really showing his class there, and probably clutching this game for his team.
His final 40 seconds needs to see 2 Stormtroopers goals, lest we go to game number 5. Flame sends it backboard, but Jack with a really good clear. Dead Monster somehow predicts it. Archie on the goal line again. Defensively strong. Polar trying to go for just a quick challenge in the air. Jack and Flame not able to make any contact. Archie from the backboard. I swear, every time it's been a backboard play, it's been Archie. But that goes down from Polar to apparently Jack. And we're within 1. What a 1-2 that is.
That is a beautiful play. This Polar boy has really impressed me. I hadn't seen much of him, but that is, you know, that's world-class threes play right there. Just knocking it right on top of the defender so that you can't really do anything through fear of scoring an own goal. And Jack, easiest finish of his life. Great play. Maybe a lifeline in this game.
Yes, the final 5 seconds that we approach. Apparently Jack is on the backboard with not very much at all. Polar can get it central. This now has to be kept up. Gifted very slightly with a touch. Polar can keep it high though, as Dead Monster with about 60 boost can carry it in the corner. Jack though with a miss. And Top Blokes take it 4-3. Game 5 looms, and this is a closer series than we anticipated. Maybe all the Stormtrooper fans in the audience, they're quietly happy that we were wrong and said that Top Blokes would win this, because Stormtroopers, despite the fact they lost this game, it was a close one. We've seen now that when they're down, they don't just give up.
Yeah, a couple of really costly mistakes. You have to wonder if they hadn't gone 3-0 down so quickly, maybe that could have been their game. Bit of a painful loss to take for Stormtroopers there. And now we're on to game 5, and the question for me is do Top Blokes continue to rely on this pressure and wait for mistake strategy, or do they take a few more risks and really try to take the win? It's up to them. I don't know which one I'd pick.
I mean, I suppose you have to look at their history of how they've liked to play, where they are not a risk-taking team, but the addition of Archie, that might be a new wave of them, where Archie in that game was well on top, clear by 150 points on his team. He had the most shots. He was the offensive and defensive powerhouse, and he made sure that any chance that they got in defense, it continued down the entire pitch, and they were able to try and convert any defensive play into an offensive play. Do you think that this game is in either team's favor right now, or is it very up in the air?
I would say top blokes probably have the slight edge in that they've got a bit more tournament experience. I think perhaps maybe nerves come into play a little bit, which favors the less risky strategy. If you think Stormtroopers are a nervy team, I would give the slight edge to top blokes, but like I said, only very slight.
Well, both teams here wanting to play out their minds to get into the round 3 of this Swiss format, as Polar can get that central. Deadmonster beats out Archie, that is the plan all along, and gets the double tap just to prove that he could. Flame off the backboard can send it over towards Polar, who isn't able to pick up any mid boost. Can he get the second touch there? No, as Cassio is able to send it clear. It's just a little bit of ping-ponging right now. Neither team wanting to bring it in close and push it further with their teammates.
Yeah, I mean, and this is sort of top blokes' game. This is their comfort zone. Just a nice, cagey, horrible, nervy game. This is where they thrive. Whereas if you're Stormtroopers, you're wanting a bit more creativity and a bit more openness. You want your 1v1 specialists to have space. So this plays into top blokes' hands a wee bit, I reckon.
I mean, any chance for Stormtroopers to put pressure on, they're going to take it as best they can. We've already seen Polar go for a flip reset. Didn't quite go underneath the defensive player, though, but that would have been pretty devastating if it did. Archie attempting a challenge. Cassio does get a touch to that. Archie removing Deadmonster from the back. Flame can get it on the backboard, but Polar clears it away. Straight to apparently Jack as well. Opting not to go down the middle of the pitch. Instead to a teammate. Apparently Jack now getting the air duel, but bumped out the way by Cassio. Central for no Stormtroopers player whatsoever. They get sent high, and another demo coming in. Aggression now from top blokes. Yeah,
I was just wondering earlier. I believe it was Cassio got a demo, and then Flame had an open aerial, and he sort of whacked off the backboard. But yeah, like I said, someone had just been demoed. I think there might have been a case for a knockdown into the mid. Maybe, I mean, to be fair, maybe Archie had no boost and it just wasn't on at all. But they're creating opportunities and spaces here now. And Archie's, oh, I thought he was maybe going to get that. Cassio the chance to do something well defended by apparently Jack, just smothering everything.
Yeah, I think again it's the calling it of I've got the demo, and then you say, and Archie says that he's middle. Maybe he said he wasn't able to. This is a really horrible situation though for Polar. That's above the line, and it ends up flying very, very handily for Cassio as it ping-pongs around. It goes bip, 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 and then back onto him from the crossbar. Cassio with the first goal.
Yeah, a little bit of good fortune, but that's sort of top blokes' bread and butter. Just sort of keep it in their half until a little mistake or a little bit of good fortune comes out, and then you sit on your 1-0 lead and twiddle your thumbs. So I think this is, yeah, like I said, I believe they had the slight edge, and it looks like they're, I mean, obviously it's anyone's game, but they're certainly the favourites now.
Mm-hmm. Again, to hold the lead, right? We said earlier they started to get a little bit hairy, but they held their lead. They extended it to 4-3 when it was only a 3-0 at the start. I mean, Stormtroopers have the comeback potential, but top blokes have the holding the lead potential. So this is the immovable object versus the unstoppable force right now, I feel.
Yeah, there's plenty of goals and creativity in the Stormtroopers side. Although they are at a pretty large disadvantage right now, you wouldn't at all, count them out just yet, not at all.
Deadmonster from the backboard hits it low and is somehow read by apparently Jack. I didn't see that's where that ball was going to end up going. Polar challenges on the backboard. Apparently Jack crawled just slightly too far and then comes down for the save.
Yeah, great recovery. Definitely a bit of a mistake in the first instance to let the chance apparate. But then just a beautiful recovery, just so quick to get back on. What did he jump off the crossbar or the backboard or something?
So, yeah.
He landed perfectly and then great reflexes to make the save. And
I always hope that they go in when everybody on the pitch holds their breath. Everyone in the audience is like, and you just wait. Cassio faking out Jack again. Sent central. Archie can't finish it though. Flame's going to try and keep the pressure on. Final 45, Stormtroopers need a goal.
Yeah, that... Oh, what a save!
Polar, can he get something? That's the flip reset. Gets one touch into the second, but bumped out of the way by Archie. Flame clears it just to a Stormtrooper Slayer. Hasn't got the boost to follow up, though. But now he can be annoying. Apparently, Jack at the back. Just about picks up 100. Goes actually for a really weird rotation around the boost. The monster has to get it far on this right-hand side. Does end up being able to. Flame high. Polar low. Archie doesn't go for the touch. Gets called off by Cassie. A really good time wasting there by Top Blokes.
Yeah, didn't panic. That was some good composure there. He knew, you know, in those situations it could be really scary and you think, oh, I've just got to go. But he knew that his teammate was going to be able to come in behind and clear it. And they take the series, classic Top Blokes fashion, by the skin of their teeth.
Just a cheeky 1-0. That's all they need. Just a 1-0 will secure this series. Top Blokes going to be going through to play another 2-0 team. Stormtroopers will be going along and playing another 1-all team. If you guys haven't seen the Swiss format, it's amazing. Gibbs did an entire video on it. Make sure you go and watch that. Otherwise, very basically, get 3 wins before you get 3 losses. And then as soon as you get 3 wins, you're qualified. 3 losses, you're out. The top 8 from this, as there are 16 teams, half will go through. The top 8, they'll be going through into a standard single elimination bracket. And that will be happening tomorrow on Regional Event 1 Championship. Sunday. How did you feel about the Stormtroopers' performance there? Because neither of us really backed them to get probably more than one game that they could sort of lock their way into, or force their way into, rather. And they ended up taking it to 5, and it was much closer.
You know what? I knew they were going to be good in attack. There was never any doubt that they were going to have weapons and do some damage. But I was very impressed with how organized they were defensively. Only a couple of mistakes on the defense from what I remember. I mean, in the end, those mistakes were the costly ones. But they look like a real 3v3 team. I was sort of half expecting them to look like a bunch of talented players sort of squished together. But they look like a real 3v3 team. And with a bit more experience, a bit more... more scrims, more tournament practice. I think they could be a real threat.
Yeah, I was looking at the table earlier to see who I thought my top 8 would be, and the amount of times I've got to 8 teams and then thought, oh no, what about this team? What about this team? There are so many that can make it through today that I will be upset to see any of them end up leaving. But hopefully Stormtroopers do make it through. Obviously, Top Blokes still need one more win in round number 3. Everybody, make sure that you get involved with the action. If you are on Twitter, make sure you @ RL Esports and use the hashtag RLCSX. If you can flood that hashtag, then FDOT will not be able to do his job properly. And that's what we're all here hoping for. So, guys, make sure that you get involved on Twitter and maybe MySpace. I don't know how the social side of all of this works. Or your Pixo. Do you have a Pixo, Marky?
I don't actually know.
You never had a Pixo? Oh, nightmare. If you had a Pixo, let me know.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
Oh, you're a year older than me. Must have been that year.
It was around for 9 months. Everybody, please make sure that you get involved on Twitter. Otherwise, we will see you after this break with even more Rocket League.